Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Today is Threshold Thursday. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am truly excited to be with you today as we continue our February journey of cultivating self-compassion. Well, this week has been absolutely transformative. So, on Monday, Dr. Will and I, we explored the power of setting boundaries as an act of self-compassion. And on Tuesday, we created a symphony for all of the healing songs that we explored this month. And yesterday we learned about the transformative power of mentorship with Dr. Deborah Heiser. Well, today we're standing at a powerful threshold. That intersection where boundaries, music, and mentorships meet to create what I'm calling a sacred space. So as we prepare for this transition from February focus on self-compassion to March themes of letting go, understanding that this sacred space becomes very essential. But before we get into this topic, let's take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good, so I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, Goddess, Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you. All right, but welcome back. All right, before we dive deeper, let's take a moment to ground ourselves and open our hearts to receive this message, all right? All right, so if you could find a comfortable position. And if you're in a safe place, please close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. And take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. Now release it slowly through your mouth. Now I want you to imagine yourself standing at a threshold, a beautiful doorway filled with golden light. Now this doorway represents the boundaries between who you have been and who you are becoming. Feel that energy of this sacred space. Now as you breathe in, I want you to feel yourself filling with divine protection. And as you exhale, I want you to release any guilt about setting boundaries, any fear about speaking your truth, and any hesitation about claiming your sacred space. And with each breath, I want you to affirm, my energy is sacred. My boundaries are acts of love. My space is divinely protected. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, my beautiful people, if you are new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help ground us ourselves before we get into the topic at hand. All right, well, today I want to talk about something that's become so clear to me. And as I reflected on this week's conversation, the art of sacred boundaries, You see, when Dr. Will and I, when we talked about boundaries on Monday, he shared something profound. He said that boundaries aren't just about keeping people out, that they are about honoring your capacity and articulating in a way that others can learn from you. And that resonated really deeply with me. Then on Tuesday, as we wove together our symphony of self-compassion from all of the amazing songs that we explored, I realized that each song was teaching us about a different type of boundary. So let's recap on that a little bit. So the very first song that we talked about was Earth, Wind, and Fire, On Your Face. And what Earth, Wind, and Fire taught us about emotional boundaries was allowing our authentic feelings to show on our face. And then the following week, we had two amazing songs that I shared, and it was Whitney Houston's I Don't Know My Own Strength. And what Whitney Houston taught us was about resilience boundary, honoring our journey and not letting circumstances define us. And then that same week, that same day, we talked about Yolanda Adams' song, I'm Gonna Be Ready. And Yolanda Adams taught us about spiritual boundaries, creating space for our miracles before they arrive. And then last week, it was Pastor Mike Jr. with his song, Winning. And Pastor Mike taught us about mental boundaries, declaring victory when everything looks like defeat. And then let's not forget about yesterday, Dr. Heiser showed us how mentorship creates safe containers for growth, another form of sacred boundary. So all of this together points to what I believe is a key threshold that we must cross in our self-love journey, moving from viewing boundaries as walls to seeing them as sacred spaces of transformation. Now let's talk about three types of sacred boundaries that can transform your life. So number one, the boundary of a sacred no. N-O, no. You know, one of the most powerful things Dr. Will has shared with us on Monday was about understanding your capacity. And this isn't just about saying no to others. It's about saying a sacred yes, Y-E-S, to yourself. So when you honor your capacity by saying no to what doesn't serve you, you're not being selfish. You're creating a space of divine alignment. And you're saying this sacred vessel that I am can only hold so much. And I choose to fill it with what truly nourishes me. So this is that yes to you. But then this reminds me of the line from Earth, Wind, and Fire, when he said the way that you feel shows on your face. When we don't honor our capacity, it shows. Our energy leaks, our light dims, our face reveals the truth. So this week, I want you to do this for me. I want you to practice saying one sacred no each day. And before you say it, I want you to place your hand on your heart and ask yourself, does this honor my capacity? And then speak your truth with love. All right, the second one is the boundary of sacred expression. So in our Transform Tuesday, we talked about the symphony of self-compassion, or how each song offered us a different note in our healing journey, right? So what struck me was how each artist had the courage to express their truth through music. But Whitney Houston, she didn't hide her pain. She transformed it into power. And Pastor Mike Jr., he didn't wait for circumstances to change. He declared his winning season. You see, this is the boundary of sacred expression. Honoring your voice enough to let it be heard, even when it trembles, even when it might not be received by everyone. So on this one, I want you to choose one truth that you've been hesitant to express. Choose one truth that you've been hesitant to express and write it down. Then I want you to speak it out loud to yourself. Then choose one safe person to share it with this week. And number 3, the boundary of sacred mentorship. So yesterday, Dr. Heiser taught us that mentorship isn't just about a career advancement. It's about passing down what matters most to us. It's about creating a container where wisdom can flow between souls. You see, this boundary of sacred mentorship is recognizing what you have to give and creating space for that exchange to happen. So I want you to think about it. Every mentorship relationship has boundaries. There's trust, right? There's respect. There's goals. And without these boundaries, the relationship wouldn't work. But within these sacred boundaries, transformation happens. So here's an exercise for you all. I want you to identify one piece of wisdom that you like to pass down, or one area where you like to receive guidance. Then I want you to take one small step toward creating that mentorship container. All right, my beautiful people. So as we stand at this threshold between February and March, between self-compassion and letting go, I want you to remember that boundaries aren't about shutting down. They're about opening up in a way that honors your sacred essence. And this is a homework for this week. I want you to identify one relationship where your boundaries need strengthening. And then I want you to create a boundary statement that begins with, I honor myself by. And then I want you to practice delivering this statement with love and compassion. And then document your expression in our Year of Rebirth workbook. And I would love for you to share your boundary journey with us using hashtag Season of Self-Love and hashtag Threshold Thursday. You know, your courage might be exactly what someone else needs to see to honor their own sacred space. So remember, with our Transfer Tuesday episode of last week when we were speaking about being a ripple for someone else, this is exactly what we're talking about. So, my beautiful, today has been short and sweet. So, until tomorrow's Freedom Friday, I want you to remember that your boundaries are not walls. They are sacred spaces on where you honor your truth, your capacity, and your divine worth. So, have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.